This episode is brought to you by Philly Gemstones.
Coco Chanel always said, take the last thing you put on off. But I feel like I don't know if I'm fully in agreement with that.
Just put another one on.
Yeah.
More is more.
Yeah.
Welcome to If Jewels Could Talk. I'm Carol Woolton, the voice of jewellery, an author, broadcaster, and the woman who initiated the role of jewellery editor at magazines like Tatler and British Vogue. This is a podcast for everyone, for people who do like jewellery, for people who don't realise they like jewellery, and anyone intrigued by fascinating facts, new ideas, and forgotten histories. So please join me as I tell sparkly tales, meeting all sorts of people, delving into 4 centuries of jewellery culture, and investigate what's happening now. Today, I'm talking with 2 Vogue cover stars. Jerry Hall, the blue-eyed blonde model and actress who conquered the fashion world in her 20s, became one half of the ultimate rock and roll couple, and wife of media mogul Rupert Murdoch, and her daughter, Georgia May Jagger, who's a model and businesswoman, currently based in LA, where she's busy developing her own natural skincare line, and she is a keen ambassador for charitable organisations dedicated to protecting the environment. Jerry Hall, as the Glamazonian mum of 4, has always been a bona fide style icon, and I want to discuss how much of that is inherited, how much is learnt, and how much of their jewellery style they share. Hello, Jerry. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And Georgia, hi, how are you?
Hey, Carol, how are you doing? Thanks so much for having us.
Well, thank you for being here. So, what does jewellery mean to you, Jerry, and how important is it in your arsenal of accessories when you open your wardrobe? Where does jewellery feature for you?
I've always loved jewelry and often, excited about wearing some special piece of jewelry, especially, if it's to do with, say, something that my daughter gave me or, something sentimental, so you want to wear what will go with your jewelry. I mean, usually if you're going somewhere fancy, you know what jewelry you're going to wear before. I mean, I live on a vineyard, so I have a very casual life. So I don't wear such, wild big pieces as, I used to when I was doing, in the fashion world. And often, you'd get given things from designers, from fashion shows, sort of big over the top earrings and things like that. But nowadays, I love wearing charm bracelets, and, each one has a special meaning and it's lovely. I love the infinity knot. I wear more simple jewelry these days.
And what about you, Georgia?
I mean, I'm going to...
You're a bit more maximalist, aren't you?
I'm definitely a more is more person, but I'm going to kind of argue, Mum, on that. I'll say that we're kind of similar in the way that our day-to-day will be quite toned down, but I feel like if we're going to go for a look, we quite like a statement piece of jewelry. And that doesn't necessarily mean that something has to be like very over expensive. Like, I think the way that my mom always taught me, like growing up, that it was like such a mix of things, like you have your special things for special occasions that you wear. But I've always grown up wearing her kind of, like she had a lot of jewelry from Chanel in the 70s and a lot of like costume jewelry and a lot of stuff that was more kind of like old paste diamonds, and I used to dress up in it a lot. And so I feel like we're both kind of similar in the way that we like something that's simple and maybe like more layered bracelets and smaller earrings and necklaces. But then also like if there's a moment that you really want to wear like that big kind of statement necklace, I think that we both kind of are into that look as well.
You kind of like dressing up.
Yeah.
You haven't lost that, Jerry, on your vineyard. You still like dressing up.
Yes. No, jewelry is a beautiful thing to, it's like art. It's a beautiful thing to collect, has special memories. It's about special times.
And I always say that it's like a woman's jewelry box is tells all about her life, her fashion, her loves, her family, And I mean, do you have all these pieces that you kind of remind you of these moments?
I do. And I remember the first time that I bought jewelry for myself when I first went to Paris. My twin sister and we both had charm bracelets. And when I would travel, I sent her an Eiffel Tower charm, and I would collect charms from different countries and send them to her. And it was a sort of a way of staying connected. And I did the same with my daughters. When they came a certain age, I got them a charm bracelet. That was like the first thing. And then, charms for special occasions. And I think it's a lovely thing connected to memory. I've always loved Indian jewelry. And Mick used to give me beautiful Indian jewelry, and he's given the girls Indian jewelry too. And it's a lot of fun, sort of rough stones, it's just kind of bohemian fun.
And I read that you used to have that in common with Andy Warhol. You used to go jewelry shopping with Andy Warhol?
Andy loved jewelry, and he used to buy me beautiful Victorian paste jewelry. And, he loved real jewelry too. He collected jewelry. Jewelry's got a lot of glamour connotations, a lot of connections with Hollywood and with movie stars. And Andy loved all that. I think charm bracelets is kind of like a whole Hollywood 1950s thing. All the movie stars always had these charm bracelets. I've always loved a charm bracelet with a pencil skirt. It's, little sweaters. It's kind of 1950s kind of Hollywood thing.
Where did you go shopping with Andy Warhol? Were you in Paris then?
We went in Paris and in New York. We'd go to flea markets and shops, and he liked looking, and I would try it on. And, actually we would buy more things, cheaper things in the flea markets, but we used to go into expensive jewelry shops and play around.
And Georgia, what was the first piece you really remember your mother wearing?
Well, I think that, like I was saying, I think that even though I remember her obviously having like beautiful like diamond earrings and stuff, I really remember her wearing a lot of like pink pearls and stuff like that. She used to love like wearing like coral necklaces and even like shell necklaces and that kind of thing when we were on vacation. And, she had kind of this amazing dressing table with all her perfumes on it, with all of these different pearls and kind of shell necklaces and stuff. And she used to let me play around in it. And actually, it was like a big thing for me when I moved out when I was 18. She gave me a lot of this jewelry that I played in years as kind of my, which I never thought I was going to actually get. I've been playing in it for so long, and all these amazing clip-on earrings, like all the like Mugler ones. And, I have these ones of hers that are like whole ear cuffs. They kind of cover your whole ear, and they're just like super over the top, like gold with fake pearls. And so I kind of remember just wearing it all. And then she gave me a lot of it when I moved out. And I still wear it all the time, a lot of her jewelry.
That's so nice, isn't it?
You love those big Terry Mugler crazy earrings.
Do you ever ask for them back, Jerry? Do you ever get them back and say, God, I really need that tonight?
No. I love seeing it continue and have a new life with my daughter. And, I think it's so lovely.
But then you have to be fair and sort of divvy it up to all the children, don't you?
Well, Lizzie, I'm the youngest daughter, so Lizzie got all of the really good clothes. So the jewelry, It was fair that I got the jewelry because the clothes had already been taken, most of them. So I had my eye on the jewelry, and Mum knew about it.
Did you have anything left, Jerry, at the end? Was the wardrobe bare?
No, I do. Yeah, no, I mean, I still have baskets of these kind of amber beads and pearl necklaces, and they're so much fun. I've always loved just to, be on holiday and take some stuff, and not so precious, but, you just change it around and play with it. It's a lot of fun.
What did you remember your mother wearing when you grew up in Texas?
My mother loved old Hollywood, and she had all kinds of costume jewelry. And actually, I have some of her things, and it's lovely to have them, because it brings back memories of my mother when she would dress up and she would look so glamorous. And so it's a really special thing.
What about the macaroni necklace, Mom? Tell them about the macaroni necklace.
Oh, yeah. When she was about 14, she she lived in the country, and she dyed some macaroni red and put it on a string and wore it as a necklace.
And then Lizzie bought Mama a piece of gold. She managed to find a gold macaroni.
Oh, that's very cute. You see, it's those stories.
Very funny.
That's so sweet. And it's all those stories that sort of link families. That's so nice, isn't it? Because then to anyone else, it's just a piece of macaroni. But to you, it has real sentimental value.
It's so lovely, to be given something from your mom, or your daughter gives to your mom. It's just so lovely. Mother's Day, Georgia gave me some beautiful rose gold jewelry from Pandora, which I love and wear quite a bit. And it's very sweet. She was, it was a few years ago. It's very sweet that, she passes things to me.
Yeah. So that sounds like a hint, Georgia. What have you got planned for this Mother's Day?
Well, we've already had this whole day together, which was like where we were doing the campaign for Mother's Day. But for us, it kind of felt like a normal Mother's Day, even though we're having our photo taken. But, we kind of really enjoy that because we feel like we have, something we can remember from these like pictures and the film. And usually we celebrate both Mother's Days, because obviously Mom's American, I'm half American, but also we lived in England. And so we just say that, she deserves to have both. So we celebrate both.
Oh, she's a lucky mother. It's like the Queen having 2 birthdays. And Georgia, I think you wear kind of men's jewelry sometimes. I mean, do you take it from your father, from your brother, from your boyfriend? Do you borrow their jewelry?
I think a lot of it comes from my older brother, Jimmy, because I really he's 6 years older than me. And when I was younger, I think I used to be, I was still a tomboy, but I definitely used to be a bit more girly. And then I think when I became a teenager, I just thought he was so cool. And he bought me an eye ring from the Great Frog. And I've just stolen a few of his kind of chains and stuff like that, because I like the look of it. And I like mixing it up. I think some people wear the same kind of jewelry thing every day. And I think of it more as I really think that it adds a different kind of look. Even if you're wearing jeans and a t-shirt, I think me wearing something very delicate and rose gold versus wearing a kind of chunkier necklace of my brother's or the gold ones of Mum's, I think it really changes a more simplistic outfit into anything you want it to be. So for me, that's why I've always loved it, because I always feel like jewelry is a kind of smaller way to style things. So you don't need to have as many clothes to make the look, really something new each time.
So is it more important the look and the style for you, or the mood that jewelry gives to you and brings to you? What's more important?
I think that the mood that you're in, for me, connotates how I want to dress. I always plan it out with how I feel, or the weather, what kind of mood I'm in. I think Mum's very old school Hollywood glamour, but she too also, when she said, when she's on the ranch and stuff, she'll wear jewelry and still wear makeup, but she'll be wearing more jeans and cowboy boots and stuff like that. And I'm kind of the same, it kind of depends on whether I'm going for, if I'm wearing a super sparkly sequin dress in the evening, I maybe won't go for as big, bold, sparkly jewelry. I'll kind of tone it down a bit more and do a bit more layered, smaller things. But if I'm I like to do bigger jewelry with maybe a more casual outfit, with a leather jacket, trousers, something like that. So I think for me, it depends on just how I'm feeling. But I think it's a great thing that you can always, Coco Chanel always said, take the last thing you put on off. But I feel I don't know if I'm fully in agreement with that.
Just put another one on.
Yeah.
More is more.
Yeah.
And Jerry, do you think that your style is, obviously it's, as fashion changes, that sort of big costume look was so 1980s, wasn't it? But do you think we all wear finer pieces as we get older? And I suppose as our life progresses, do you feel you want pieces that are more significant, but smaller, but more significant in their material?
Well, I think it depends. It's a way for a woman to be creative, another way to be creative. You're creative with how you do your house, how you dress, and how you wear your jewelry is another way of being creative. And I do think it's fun what George is saying about dressing up something casual. And it does make a difference, but I think, I still love diamonds. And if I'm going to go out in an evening, something very fancy, I mean, I do like to go a little overboard sometimes, so I wouldn't say I'm completely, toned down.
So what's overboard? What do you describe as overboard?
Some big earrings, something very sparkly, a wonderful necklace, some bracelets, a bit of everything.
I mean, have you ever seen Mae West movies or?
Oh, I love Mae
West.
That's it. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Day to day, it's nice to, even if you're dressed in jeans and casual at home, it's something that catches your eye, that looks pretty, that reminds you of something special, who gave it to you a certain time. I think it's important to dress up at home.
Well, but I've always admired, Mom, how you really mix your style. Like, I think you always look good and you always look very, very like, well, made up in a way. But I think that you have precious things that I think are like, even like things that we've made you, or they're like turquoise jewelry, or like you said, costume jewelry that was your mother's, as well as things that are obviously beautiful and sentimental, and like a diamond or something like that. And I think you've always shown me that, you don't in order for your style to look good, it doesn't always have to be like the newest, most expensive designer item. It can be a mixture of everything.
And how you put it together.
Yeah.
So when you're having dinner on the ranch together with your husband, do you dress up? Do you wear different jewelry in the evening?
I'd always try to look nice. And, I like to put on different bits of jewelry for dinner. I sort of freshen up and put on a little lipstick and brush my hair and sort of make an effort for dinner, even when we're on our own. And I think that's a nice thing to do. I wouldn't wear gigantic diamonds on our own, but earrings make you feel like you finished dressing.
Yeah, I think during COVID as well, like towards the end, I got so fed up of just wearing. In the beginning, I was so excited to wear my pajamas all the time, and then like towards the end, I was like quite excited, even if I was like going over to like drop something over at Mum's to like put on like some makeup or put on like a real outfit and some jewelry. You kind of missed like accessorizing and getting ready for a day out and things like that. So I feel like we're quite happy to be like doing it a bit again.
No, I agree. I think it's a chance to be creative.
Yeah. The first thing I did after COVID was buy some earrings, actually. It was the first thing I went out and did. But Jerry, is there anything Georgia wears that you wouldn't wear? I mean, what about piercings? Georgia, do you have any piercings?
I have more piercings than she does. I have 5.
Georgia!
Yeah,
where are these piercings?
Just in my ears, but I don't have anything. Honestly, I probably would have...
That's what she tells you.
I would probably have liked to have gotten some other piercings, but it was so hard for me to even like have my piercings like not get infected when they were together, that I feel like me having a belly button ring would be like the worst idea ever. But that was like obviously like a big phase in like style when I was growing up, and like it is now. But I'm more into the earrings. I like it because I like to wear like several small studs, but I don't have any kind of like higher up ones or anything like that. But I'll like, I like to mix and match them. I wear like gold safety pin earrings. I don't think she would wear those.
No,
Jerry, would you wear those? How many piercings?
I just have 2 holes for earrings.
Okay.
No, but I do think it's pretty what Georgia does. She does a few little ones, together. And I
really like that too. I don't know, some jewelers are quite creative in the way they can make the earrings look like you have a couple of piercings when you don't, which is quite helpful. But I wonder also, as times change and we're all now so aware of climate change and sustainability, how much does that factor into when you're buying jewelry now? I
mean, I went in Thailand to see the Pandora, the crafting facility where they make everything. And I think it's one of the greenest jewelry factories in the world. And it's amazing because everything, all of the metals that they use, they're recycling them. They're not using any waste materials. They have all solar panels on it, all the energy they use. And I think in jewelry, it's something that needs to be thought of with everything else that's super important. I think for us, the way we think about it is we often buy much older jewelry, and I think we're both very into vintage antique pieces and things like that. And also the idea of, you know, like we're saying, of passing our jewelry back and forth, and, you know, really sourcing like where your stones come from so you can make sure that they're ethically sourced. I think that that's important to both of us.
And I think, did you make any jewellery when you were in the Pandora workshop? Did you
I
try
actually
your
did.
hand at it?
Yeah, we actually got taught how to make them. It was amazing. I mean, I don't think I'm as skilled. I definitely need more practice, but we learned how to make
So what did you make?
We made some little rings and we did some enamel work, and it was amazing. It was a real experience.
Did you keep that? Did you keep that ring you made?
Yeah, it's beautiful. We all had them, me and the other muses, we all had a go at it, and we spent a whole day there learning about it. But I think like up my speed for making it, I don't think I'm going to be hired there anytime soon. It was a very beautiful place, and it was an incredible trip. And I think like, you know, that was like one of the last trips that we did before we were all kind of in our homes for ages. That was right before COVID. So it was an incredible experience. And to be in Thailand, I mean, just like the people are so amazing there, and like so skilled at what they do. And so I really took advantage of it.
Oh, how lovely. I haven't been anywhere in ages.
No, I haven't either. And what about you, Jerry? Is that something you ask now about stones when you buy them? Do you want to know where they've come from and if it's recycled metal?
I think nowadays every person, you know, is concerned about what they can do to sustain our planet, and everyone's wanting to make sure that what they buy is ethically sourced. And so, yeah, I think, you know, to know that is an added bonus, sort of guilt-free jewelry buying.
Yeah, and I think actually that this is where jewelry is fits into the new mood and ethics that we all have to follow, because it is something sustainable. As you say, if you're passing it down and you're buying one thing that's going to last your lifetime,
Diamonds are forever.
And that's what we should all do now, isn't it? It's not like fast fashion.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. I remember in the 70s, we used to wear these big plastic earrings, and they were really cool, black and white kind of plastic, big hoop things and stuff. But Lord knows what they were made from.
Yes, and that adds to the sort of landfill somewhere at some point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And nobody chucks their diamonds away.
That's right.
Jerry, tell me, so do you give your daughters tips of how to add certain pieces of jewellery to their jewellery box and what they need, what they might need at different stages of their life?
I've given them things, you know, as they've matured that I thought were suitable, you know, for their age. And I started out with the charm bracelets, which were so much fun, you know, and then adding charms and things. And then I went on to pearls, and then later, you know, precious stones and things. But no, I'm not really sort of, you know, I think they've been in fashion so long and they've learned so much, and they have their own style. And I think that if anything, I've taught them, you know, be careful not to lose things, and to have fun, you know, that it's another way to be creative.
And Georgia, what was the piece at the moment that you'd hand down to your daughter?
Well, I think that the things that I said that were my mum's, like, you know, the amazing kind of gold. But what's really nice is I have a drawer from when I worked at Chanel, and then there's this, I've put the stuff that she's given me from Chanel, and then the stuff when I worked there that they gave me next to each other. And they're all these big bangles, and it's kind of cute because I've arranged them now because I did a lot of organizing, so that there's a drawer that's like her old Chanel stuff and my stuff, and they live together and I mix and match them. So I think that that's kind of a very cute moment. So if I was going to hand down anything, it would be that.
A family of Chanel. Jerry, I really want to ask you, do you have one favourite Vogue shoot that you did? One favourite Vogue cover?
Well, I loved this photos that I did in Jamaica with Norman Parkinson for English Vogue years ago.
With the swimming pool in the background.
Yeah, it was all blue. And it was such fun because recently Georgia and I did sort of redid their version of that.
It was Tim Walker. We kind of did like a take on that where we both have the shower caps on with the phones.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was such fun. That was lovely.
And that was your favourite, do you think?
Oh, I think I loved that one, yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye, Georgia.
Bye, Mom.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for listening. For more information about this and other episodes of If Jules Could Talk, please go to our website, carolwoolton.com/podcasts. And if you liked it, please share it any way you can. And subscribe to the podcast feed on any of the usual platforms where you find your podcasts. And we would love a rating and a comment. So thank you for joining me. Please join me again in 2 weeks' time for the next Jeweled Nugget. We will be talking about Tudors, power and portrait jewels. In particular, the jewellery worn by the wives of Henry VIII. And we're going to discover which one of them had the greatest jewellery collection. Please join me then. Goodbye. If Jules Could Talk with Carol Woolton is produced by Natasha Cowan, music and editing by Tim Thornton, graphics by Scott Bentley, illustration by Jordi Labanda, and you can find me on Instagram at Carol Woolton.